Coming up on Cardinals Insider.
The reason you come to be a St. Louis Cardinal is to play in the playoffs and have a chance to win the World Series every year.
Reliving the magic of 2011, 10 years later. Plus,
it was way beyond what I expected.
I sit down with newly minted Hall of Famer Ted Simmons. And later,
this is like a once-in-a-lifetime type duo.
The guys share what it's like to watch Yadi and Waino make history. Those stories and more ahead on Cardinals Insider. Hello and welcome to our season finale. I'm Ozzie Smith. It's been 10 years since the 2011 Cardinals electrified St. Louis and wrote one of the most improbable comeback stories in baseball history. That team returned to Busch for a 10-year reunion. Here's some memories from that reunion weekend.
You start to understand how hard it is to win the last game. It really is. I mean, there's tons of teams and opportunities, and you have to have fortune, and you have to have talent, and you have to be playing good baseball at the right time, and a lot goes into being the last team.
I think it's all about being a Cardinal, being from St. Louis. That's what kind of overpowers.
You know, in September we got really hot, and we were just saying if we could get that wild card spot the way we were playing, we liked our chances.
Kind of what you dream of as a kid, to play important games, and the reason you come to be a St. Louis Cardinal is to play in the playoffs and have a chance to win the World Series every year.
I mean, every game was do or die for us, right? We had whatever it was, 10 and a half games back in August, and we had to win, and we had to move on to the next every single time.
Watching him pitching is incredible.
Swing and a ground ball to the second baseman. Out at first, Carpenters goes the distance, and the Redbirds win this one, headed for Milwaukee.
You're part of the team that's got a bigger goal, and it's not just about yourself. So when you have a teammate like Carp going out there and doing the things that he was doing, it's almost in a way you wanted to make your teammate proud.
That's how Carp is. He's like that every start. So it wasn't, oh man, this guy really stepped up, and that's how he pitched every time out.
With the way Waino getting hurt in spring training, he really was kind of our go-to guy that we counted heavily on.
You see it all. You know, you see the hitters, you know what you're doing, you got the crowd, you got the noise, all those things that are going on in your mind. It's just being able to control it.
I know the word!
We had guys that had been around who knew when to have fun and who knew when to lock it in.
Outfielders are so deep. A base hit out of the infield, and John Jay can walk home.
I'd been praying because I knew that throughout the series there was a chance that I was going to have a big at-bat like that, going up to the plate in that situation where the whole season's riding on one at-bat. And I do think having had a lot of previous playoff experience had helped, all those things combined. But the biggest thing for me was just being able to pray and feel like I had an answered prayer to be calm enough to be able to compete. And fortunately, it went our way.
In the air to right center. Going to third is Pujols. And it's 9-9. And the Rangers are 1 out away from the championship. And it comes down to the hometown kid, David Freese.
It's almost like a story that you'd have a hard time people believing. I mean, he grew up in St. Louis, gets traded to the Cardinals.
Into right, well hit, back at the wall, it's off the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes Berkman. Freese has tied it.
I mean, it was just really a cool moment to see the hometown kid come up with hits like that.
Before he hit that home run, he was, I want to pitch tomorrow, please, God, please, I want to pitch tomorrow,
Freese hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think I'll always have a what the heck feeling towards it. There's so many things that could have, should have, and would have happened if I just chose different paths and stuff, and to just come back and become a Cardinal and and have the opportunity to succeed. And it's cool to have the feeling that I was ready for it. And then you pull through and help win a ring. It'll never get old, but it's definitely going to kind of be weird forever.
That's what's great about baseball. Those moments like find you, you know, and you know the guys that are able to like latch onto that and make the most of it.
Here we are, Game 7. This is when this great game is at its best.
You got that emotional high in Game 6, an unbelievable win, but we were able to turn a page and move on to Game 7 knowing that we weren't finished. And I think that practice leading up to that and that struggle or pressure that we had on us every single game leading up to those moments allowed us to prepare for that stuff.
In the air to left, well hit. Back is Craig.
You know, when the ball's in the air, it's like go make a play.
What a team! What a ride!
But the anticipation of being in left field and hearing the Cardinal fans chant and all that was different, for sure, obviously.
You know, it's over, you take a deep breath and you have the parade, and 10 years later and being around the guys and how much fun you had, and you can really appreciate it in a different way that maybe you could when you were all of a sudden, you know, a week later you're trying to start getting ready for the next season, and when you're in the middle of it, sometimes you don't appreciate it the way you should. 10 years later, it's fun to think about it and really go, man, that was really cool.
To hear more about 2011, check out our full-length interview with David Freese. Find it in our in-depth and interview playlist on YouTube. After the break,
you just can't really get used to it. You can't believe it.
Hear my conversation with fellow Hall of Famer Ted Simmons. That's just ahead, so stay put.
National Baseball Hall of Fame induction class of 2020, Ted Simmons.
Welcome back to Cardinal Insider, and today we're joined by Teddy Simba Simmons. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Never been better in my life.
It's been a wild ride, huh?
It has.
Was it anything like you expected?
It was way beyond what I expected. This whole Hall of Fame thing began to build about 2.5 years ago. I had a earlier election and I got 11 votes. And then when that happened, this momentum started to build. People would approach and say, hey, you're going in. I'm telling you, you're going in. I said, well, I've been through this before. Just, you know, try to stay calm. And then the momentum kept building, and then I was elected. And then when I got to the Hall finally here in the last 10 days or so, it was way beyond my expectations. You get up there and you see those people behind you, and they're all living Hall of Famers, and you get up and do your chirp and you get it over with. It's really, really pretty special.
There are many roads to Cooperstown. One look at this very special group behind me makes that clear. For some, it comes quickly, and for others, it takes a little time. For those like myself, the path is long, and even though my path fell on the longer side, I would not change a thing.
Your speech, your preparation, tell us about that.
Well, they bring the new elected Hall of Fame members to Cooperstown. It's like a freshman orientation when you go off to college. They bring you in for a 3-day weekend and they show you the whole place, prepare you for what to expect when your induction finally comes. And they said, we'd like for your speech to be in place and in our hands by April the 14th. So it took me about 3 weeks to really put the thing together like I wanted to say and include the people I wanted to mention. By the time I was ready to turn it into them in that April, I had it like I wanted it. Now it was just a matter of, you know, practicing it and getting some comfortable delivery. And so I've been waiting to do this for almost 2 years.
When the St. Louis Cardinals selected me first in the June 1967 draft, they brought me into their historic and very successful baseball family. The Milwaukee Brewers became my second baseball family, Next came the Atlanta Braves, followed by the Pittsburgh Pirates, Cleveland Indians, San Diego Padres, and the Seattle Mariners. So I have lived within many families and am about to step into baseball's most elite family. And I am incredibly humbled.
Putting this whole thing together was a real difficult thing because a lot of the people that I knew and was associated with and loved have passed. My mother and father, my older brother, significant people, my in-laws, my wife's family. I just decided, I'll just bring them. And it's really the only way I could get through it emotionally. I got to the place where I said, look, the hardest thing you're going to have is to get through this, knowing all these people have passed. And so I just put a framework in my head that said, they're here.
Did you dream about making the Hall of Fame?
Oh yes, of course everybody does that. And I mean, especially if when you're young, you start recognizing that you're better than the other guys. And then, most people know I grew up in Detroit and watched the Tigers play, and I used to dream, oh God, if I could ever play in the majors, and oh God, if I could, ever be in the All-Star game, or play in the World Series, and God, Hall of Fame, give me a break.
What are you looking forward to as far as the Hall of Fame is concerned?
Well, I think the thing that
and I know it'll be nice to go back and not have to give a speech.
Well, that would be that's dynamite.
Where you can relax.
Yeah, right. Well, they've told me that now that this is over, you're going to really enjoy going. And I think the camaraderie of all of these people who I've played against or with, many of them, you just can't imagine how, when they're all in one place like that, and you're shoulder to shoulder with them all, you just can't really get used to it. You can't believe it. I'll get used to it and I'll believe it, but I'm really looking forward to that.
We want to thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations again, very well deserved, and we gotta have about a glass of wine together.
We'll do that, man.
Time, all right?
We'll do that. Sure enough.
More Cardinal Insider in just a minute. During this year's home opener, a St. Louis couple celebrated the birth of their son. They decided to name him Nolan in honor of Nolan Arenado, who blasted a homer in his home debut. Here's an update on how baby Nolan is doing 6 months later.
We were in the delivery room. We were watching the Cardinals game. We had picked out at Easton or Everly. We didn't know the gender.
And the Cardinal game was just kind of on in the background, because we had already been watching it all day. Just kind of so happened that, we had the baby and it was a boy. And
baby came out and immediately when I had him in my hands, I'm like, but I was scared half to death to say, hey, I know we had this name, we've got like stocking with an E on it. We've got clothes, some that have an E on it. We kind of sat there and talked for a little bit. She kind of came to the same conclusion that I'm not a big fan of Easton. Right then is when Nolan hit the home run.
Arenado, a drive, deep left, at the wall. Welcome to St. Louis, Nolan.
And that's when I was looking at her and I'm like, what about Nolan? And she's like, I really like that. Welcoming the newest member to Cardinal Nation, Nolan Michael Stinnett, born Thursday, April 8th at 6:18 p.m. Let's go Cardinals.
Like neighbors and stuff like that will be like, oh, this is the famous Nolan. So yeah, it's definitely been funny just meeting people and then realizing, oh, you have baby Nolan.
How would we describe our Cardinal fandom? We went out on a date. I specifically remember we were talking about Matt Holliday and Matt Carpenter. Her dad was a big Matt Holliday fan. She was a big Matt Carpenter fan, big Yadi fan. And
yeah, that's right.
Now Nolan's a big Nolan fan. We all are. So, I mean, how could you not be?
We try to show you a different side of the players here on Cardinals Insider, including their community involvement off the field. But players aren't the only ones supporting the community. Their families get involved too. Here's a look at the Cards' Mother's Day of service at Rung for women in South St. Louis.
Today is really a compilation of discussions over the last couple years with Cardinal moms and our quest to give back to the St. Louis community through a community service project. So we partnered with the Cardinal Care program. They then came back to us a couple months later after really doing a lot of research in the community because we were really specific. We wanted to work with an organization that had a focus on moms and women. So the Cardinals Care team came back to the mom team with Rung for Women in partnership with Urban Harvest.
We got connected to some of the Cardinals moms who are just looking to see what's here and how they can help, and I think Rung really resonates with them as moms. We harvest over 100 pounds of food a week, which requires a lot of hands. So our volunteers in the garden are so huge, so I was really happy they were willing to get dirty.
With the Chinese spice mix.
You want a photo with
and then I moved on to banana peppers, but I don't know what these are.
Habaneros. Do you want us to have
habaneros? These are habaneros.
I'm glad to support my mom and the other women here today just because she raised me so well, and just the support that I got from her. Just knowing that if women come here with kids, that they could support their kids better so that those kids can grow up and do great things. So I just love the vibes here, and everyone's just been so friendly.
In just a bit,
it's incredible. Just watching the relationship that those two have.
We find out what it's been like to watch baseball history up close. Stick around. That and more still to come. All season, we've been showing you some of Mike Shannon's finest work and sharing tributes from notable figures across sports and pop culture. The end of this season concludes Mike's 50-year run in the booth. He's been behind the mic for some of the most consequential moments in club history. But Mike's attachment to the Cardinals goes far beyond the radio. He was a world champion in uniform and a fan growing up in South St. Louis long before that. And as he said it best in his Cardinals Hall of Fame speech, he's always viewed this as his city, his state, and his Cardinals. Mike and I have shared a love for this town, this team, and a good round of golf. Mike, thank you for representing our franchise with such passion and for lending your voice to so many special moments in my life. You will forever be one of the golden voices of Cardinal baseball and a true icon here in your hometown. Congratulations on a great baseball life and a legendary career. All my best to you in retirement. And still to come, you ask, I answer. It's Ask Ozzie after the break.
No place takes you in depth with the Cardinals like our YouTube channel. Get to know the players, come along for one-of-a-kind experiences, and hang out with personalities from across Cardinals Nation. Plus, we capture the days and moments that make Cardinals baseball so special. Just search St. Louis Cardinals on YouTube and be sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. St. Louis Cardinals Baseball. Fly.
It's time for this week's Ask Ozzie. Evie in St. Louis asked, what was your reaction to David Freese's famous triple and homer in Game 6 of the 2011 World Series? My reaction was just as yours, Evie. It was unbelievable that a guy could hit a triple and then come back and win the game with a home run. It was very, very special. It's exciting, and it's what we've come to expect here in postseason as far as Cardinal baseball is concerned. As an alumni, it is nerve-wracking because we all feel so much a part of it. And when you invested as we are invested here in St. Louis, yes, a lot of fingernail biting. Thanks for the question, Evie. If you want to submit a question, head to cardinals.com/insider and click the Ask Ozzie tab. I'll answer more of your questions next year, so keep them coming.
When we're all here together. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Join the team and help us all get back to doing what we love. together.
Adam Wainwright threw to Yadi Molina as a big leaguer for the very first time on September 23, 2005. Since then, their legend has grown with each pitch. We close our season finale with an Ask a Cardinal all about Yadi and Waino's legacy together.
It's real special. Just, the amount of respect those guys have in the clubhouse and the way they just go about their business, it's really a pleasure to watch each and every day.
I mean, it's something that you don't get to see every day. I mean, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime type duo.
To get the chance to play with two Hall of Famers like that, who have played together for 15 years and been such a huge part of this organization's history, it's incredible, and I definitely count my blessings every day that I'm able to play with those two guys.
It's a legendary battery we're witnessing, so just trying to enjoy it as we can and compete with those boys. Competing with those guys is great.
Pretty cool. I mean, when I was in Colorado, my locker mate was Story to the right, and now I got Yadi, and I mean, I want to say it's an upgrade because that'd be this to my boy Stowe, but I mean, it's a pretty good move having him right there, and I'm fortunate. This is a fortunate time for me to play with both these guys, and I'm going to make sure I don't take it for granted.
Oh, it's incredible. Just watching the relationship that those two have and then the impact that they have on the team, both in the clubhouse and on the field. It's incredible.
Like all Cardinal fans know, those two guys have been the root of the success for almost 20 years now in St. Louis. So to have those guys back, they're competitors. They love to win, and bringing that attitude and that energy every day is what this team needs.
That's it for this season. Rewatch full episodes on YouTube where there's tons of great Cardinal coverage. Plus, we're always online at cardinals.com/insider too. And for everyone associated with the show, I'm Ozzie Smith. Thanks for joining us all season long.